Good evening from here. Great to be back and warm greetings from the team. I hope that you've had a great week and enjoying this reflections, your own practice, and anything that has come up in the last week, do share. And there's opportunity also to recap. And we will start with a recap of the phases, this fascinating journey of the invisible traveler through the phases in the drama. So we'll watch a recap of this now.
Each phase has its own quality. For the Brahmin, there is love for knowledge. The deity, there is happiness. For the warrior, there is the energy of courage. The merchant, it is the energy of comfort seeking. The Shudra of laziness, and the demon of sorrow. In the Brahmin phase, there is love for knowledge, simplicity, cleanliness, community-minded spirit, interested in higher truth, wisdom, and God. In the deity phase, energy of happiness, contentment, love, and being peaceful, there is perfection. He would climb Mount Everest just for fun. A deity would be an ideal friend. They are lucky. In the warrior phase, there is courage. Why did they lose the energy of happiness of the deity? With attachment in the story, it leads to the victim, beggar, and slave mindset. As a result of bondage, there is fear, so courage is needed. Other energy is competition, risk-taking, fighting, or dominating. They would climb Mount Everest with competitive energy and put up the flag. The merchant energy is of transaction, money, opulence. They would make a show. It's an inner stage. It's not dependent on the outer trade. There can be a merchant doctor, for example. There would be love for food. Mount Everest, they wouldn't go, but they might sell the tickets. They are further down the spiral of mind. The Shudra energy is of laziness, dullness, getting the wrong end of the stick. There is indulgence, looking for the next hit. They won't climb Mount Everest, they'll watch it on the adventure show on TV. Finally, the demon has the energy of sorrow, seeing the defects, what is wrong, missing the 100 good things, and brings others down. The opposite is the Brahmin, who sees the goodness in others and can bring others up. The time comes for every soul when we decide to jump out of this lower state. We don't like this feeling. We get to the point where enough is enough. If you become the Prime Minister, what would your policy be? If one created a deity community with a deity mind, you don't need gold and diamonds. In fact, you have the method. You don't need to be the Prime Minister for this. Make it easy for others. Those who are interested will take advantage. The results are guaranteed.
So hopefully this will help to refresh. So warm welcome back and handing over to Bishant. Good evening.
Hello and welcome back, and appreciate your interest, and I'm sure we all did the homework. Let us create another few minutes of quick reset. A few things we spoke of. One important aspect is the magic of our intellect. We have the option to use the intellect that helps us see the big map. We have the option of Paras. And when we see with Paras, in 1 second, we are seeing everything the right way up. We are seeing the story as story. Everything that happened since morning happened in the story. And it is not our story, it is a story. We are able to come beyond the story. And beyond the story is the real world. Paras just gives this full light. In this full light, the true self becomes conscious. And for the true self, it is normal to be incorporeal, invisible, presence, immortal. Normal to be immortal. Normal to be so separate from the story. Independent. Finds it strange to mix his life with the story. It appears so natural for him to belong to that supreme home, along with everyone else. They all are like immortal and incorporeal brothers. In this world, there are no vibrations of desperation, disappointment, desire, just a different game, different civilization, world of peace, world of silent joy. Most dominant factor here is immense love. Everyone is lovely and loving. World of God and world with God. All that was required was to be conscious. And he now sees this dimension. Silently knows that everyone is lucky. Everyone is immortal. Very lucky. As if they have won an eternal prize. And he knows he's lucky forever. As we continue on our journey, we stay awake to this extraordinary truth. Thank you. It is nice to see this personality types that you quickly revised. and how easy to bring about a shift from Shudra and merchant to deity. May I ask how do you bring about shift? You said we just need to change them into deity, and you get a different world, different society. How do you change anyone into deity? What is required? Even if he wants to change, what is your offer? What is
Knowledge,
it?
making a decision.
And what decision, what knowledge?
Forgetting, okay, not decision, what knowledge, knowledge of the soul. And you were mentioning Sita should make a decision to win over Ravan. Forget, to forget Maya can harm us. So know that Sita's beyond harm, that knowledge, she's safe. Changing the mindset, soul consciousness, the understanding, decision to do what Ram says. Understanding of drama. Maybe the knowledge in this picture.
Yeah, one is understanding the drama, but the most important factor is be free from any bondage with the drama. Zero bondage. That is what we mean by being on the right side of the line. That box that we see, it is a foreign world, it is a temporary world, it's a fictional world. One has to be really confused to go into a foreign world and start claiming things and clinging to things, taking support and identify things. It is bizarre situation. In full light, full clarity, you see how absurd it is. That is all. Sorrow and all the degradation and selfishness and demonic personality is only because of that, creating bondage in a foreign world, in a temporary world, in an unpredictable world. And an answer to that is become free. That's why various words we used: guest, trustee, traveler, actor. You are involved, at the same time you are free. Observer, detached observer, witness. So these are different things. When you are involved with this physical world, be extra cautious to step back. That is what we mean by soul consciousness. And more you let go, you discover your world. You are reconnected to your true family, true father, true treasures, true home, everything yours. And it is a big, big prize. And your world is eternal. It is real. That's what makes you completely relaxed. Ravan is embodiment of ignorance. That's why he lives in that foreign world, shamelessly and senselessly. Ram is opposite of Ravan. He is embodiment of wisdom, and he never gets into this bondage, not even the slightest. He frees others from the bondage. That is why we want to come back to Ram and discover our eternal bond. But he is the friend of the soul. Ram is the friend. Ravan is the enemy of the soul. Today we are going to see a subject. In philosophy, it is called understanding creation. That is the way it is said in philosophy. And you will see that whether it is philosophy, whether it is religions, whether it is science, they are trying so hard to explain where this world that we see, where this world came from. It is a big riddle for everyone. They try to explain it in different ways. The religions try to explain this. They may say God created it at some time, and philosophers have got their ideas, and science says it came. Within science, there are different models, but one model would be it started with Big Bang in some form. But the bottom line, you ask these authorities in this field, are you sure what you are talking about? Is this the way it happened? And they will say, don't know. That is their bottom line is this. They're nice theories, nice models, but bottom line, these models are taught in colleges and schools. There are books, and they are religious models are taught in their scriptures. Millions and billions are studying them. But bottom line, they say, we don't know. And even within science, different models, they are not adding up. They are different completely. We all heard about Big Bang model, just to give the essence of this Big Bang, there is infinite energy, and that is what the explosion happened in that infinite energy, and the universe started from that. That is what the Big Bang is. And then it expanded. Universe is expanded from that moment onwards. And they see that universe is still expanding. So it started with a Big Bang, and this whole universe, planets and stars, and they all started, and within that, gradually the different things evolved, and then human beings evolved, and human beings started singing and thinking, and it is all chemistry. That's the way they say. If right now we are talking, it is because some chemical reactions are happening in me, and I am thinking based upon that. If I was to have something different for lunch, I would be speaking something different. Different chemical reaction will be happening. Nothing else. There's no consciousness. That is the model of largely, I'm talking here, near 100% of the population, science population will take that position. Matter is all that exists, and that is creating thoughts and singing songs and loving and happiness. It is all chemical reactions. And there are also other models within science, but still there is they don't need to talk about consciousness. It all happens at a mechanical level. But within this world of science, there is one cosmologist, and his name is called Julian Barber. and his book is called The End of Time, based in Oxford, cosmologist. And what he tells, he doesn't talk about Big Bang. He says this world exists differently. That is his position. He uses the word now. There are many, many now. That is the word he uses. And according to his model, it is obviously based on quantum physics, and in quantum physics there is a principle of uncertainty, which is very, very obvious at a subatomic level. And same thing, it is a law. It should apply to all levels, but more obvious at subatomic level. And so he uses that, and he says, based upon what I see today, I cannot tell what happened in the past. Has anyone seen 100 years ago? Has anyone seen 200 years ago? If you have not experienced it, we do not know. He says stones and fossils and bones and records and everything, whatever you are seeing, they all are here now. I can say that as a scientist, I can make the statement, all of this exists now. Because it exists now, you say, okay, I can see the bone here, so the animal existed 200 years ago. He says that is a projection. It is your projection. It may be true, it may not be true. The science statement is all this exists now. That is all the scientist can say. That's why the book itself is called End of Time. And all that happens is he sees this world in a different model altogether. And it is a radically different model. Just like Copernicus, he brought a new way of looking at this universe. Before that, everyone thought sun moves around the earth. And Copernicus said, no, earth is going around the sun. That is, what bizarre thing to say something like that. And it is same here. What Julian Barber is saying, it is like radically different. So whole history, he says, that it becomes irrelevant. It is a projection based upon the present. And so we cannot take it any further. We will see some of the references to his thinking by other quantum physicists from of the recent history. But let us see the model in which we are bringing in the understanding of the soul. So far we have seen, we can't really make a model without the complete picture. With some incomplete picture, anything you see, you are trying to understand a human being without heart, and I don't believe in the heart, and then it is bound to be incomplete and will bring incomplete results. So also here, we can't have this model of the universe without the soul. So we are going to see the spiritual model. And in this model, first thing is that we souls have our home. And we exist in this home as souls. This region is timeless, immortal, eternal, and is divine, immortal stars, they exist here in their sweet peace. Their universe is positive. There is no reason for them to have any unpleasant feeling. Ravan is not there. If Ravan is not there, they don't have feelings of desire, no comparison, no disappointment. Sweet peace, that is their life. As we often say, natural state is positive of everyone and of the universe. Now they come in the physical world, and what they are experiencing in the physical world is a film. They are watching a film. And this film begins and ends. We are seeing a model, and then we will discuss this model later. So this film, we are showing it in the form of the circle. Truth is, it is just a film. There is a beginning, end, and but it is a circular film. Just it starts again. The same reel continues. That's why we are showing it in the form of the circle. And there is a time when we come in this. And there is a time when we return back. Not everyone comes in this grand theater. This physical world is the world we are watching this film. Who is watching the film? The souls are watching the film. Souls come, and they are the audience of this film. Feel free to say anything or ask anything as we go.
By
So
that
when
in type? You mean
yes,
typing?
yes,
Okay.
yes, type yes.
Thank you.
So when we first come in the physical world, our inner life is of 100% perfection. We just come from the soul world, and there is no attachments, no ego, no Ravan. So there is full soul consciousness, no Vinash forces. And when there are no Vinash forces, it is just the opposite. There are forces of honor, remember. And the whole community, all of them. In other words, they are all in their deity phase, deity inner life. And they obviously deserve the best of the possible worlds. And that is exactly what happens. When they come here, they are first experiencing this best of the possible worlds. We call it the golden age of mankind. So we start with the golden age. Inner life is of perfection, and that inner perfection matches with the outer world of perfection. Whole community. It is a golden age because everyone is in the same life. It is like a dance. So community is different, society is different. This is remembered in mythology in different words, different names. Valley of Shambhala, the one nice mythology where they lived in the perfection, and they didn't build statues. The whole game is different. We are talking about soul conscious society. There is birth, death, but they are soul conscious. There is no sorrow with it. They know they are immortal. Deep inside, they are experiencing something different. It is nice for us to grapple with this. What is perfection? Perfect society is, soul conscious society is. There is one book written in the original in Russian, The Dream of a Ridiculous Man by Dostoevsky. And that comes very close to accurate description of the golden age as is described here. People sometimes describe heaven, in different religions, mythology, but you get a feeling as if it is body conscious, mixed body conscious ideas are mixed in their concept of heaven. Whereas here, Dostoevsky's writings, he gets it right. Of course, he used to get visions. Dostoevsky, he calls it a dream of a ridiculous man. But it is, he had a grasp, glimpses of that reality. In the story itself, he writes, but people say to me, but it was a dream. It is a dream. And he says, yeah, it's a dream, but I saw it. It is real. I now know what has happened to human beings. Having seen that society in their perfection, you can understand what has happened to human society. Otherwise, everyone else has so adapted to this human society of today. They don't think we are into the scale of degradation that exists. They don't realize it. They think we are civilized. This is the way they see. Whereas Dostoevsky says, I know now what has happened to human beings. Golden age of mankind. And we take birth and rebirth, and we reach 1/4 of the journey. And when we reach that point, 1/4 of the journey, inner life, what is happening to our inner life? Soul consciousness is still there, but something else is happening. The body consciousness is coming in. Attachments are coming in. Just a gradual, but and the Maya and Ravan are in action, it's in their own form, and will try to bring golden deer. So we are talking about 0.1%, but that is what the beginning is. You create as little attachments, but that becomes a beginning. And a top is spinning. You just touch a little bit, and it gets a wobble. And next time around, the wobble increases, and it increases, and it increases. It is like that. So same thing happens here. Golden age is not eternal. Deities don't remain deities forever. Deities move into the warrior phase. There are reasons why they change, but that is the way, that is the destiny. So when this inner change happens, it reflects with the change in the outer world. And that is still, they are largely soul conscious, but not as sparkling as it was in the golden age. We call this the silver age of mankind. And we take birth and rebirth, that is going on. And we create attachments gradually. And once you have gone into this direction, you are feeling empty inside. And your answer to fill that emptiness is creating more attachments. That's we are getting caught into this. Silver Age is like a second-hand heaven. It is still heaven, but Golden Age is there is a smartness, and this is little change. Just like there is a big smart car, new car, and you get a car after 1 year. It is still new, but it is 1 year old, second hand. There is a different, even the price is different. So now you are reaching the end of the Silver Age. When we are fully soul conscious, it is 100% soul awareness. And in this particular terminology, it is called 16 degrees. By the end of the Golden Age, it becomes 14 degrees. Make a guess what it will be at the end of Silver Age. It was 16 degrees at the beginning. It was 14 degrees at the end of Golden Age. What is at the end of Silver Age? What are the degrees?
Someone's written 10. No other offers. Someone's saying 12. Someone is saying 16. Not sure. It's going up. Maybe someone else 8. I've got lots of options.
Yeah, the fall gets momentum. And by the end of the Silver Age, it becomes 8 degrees. And Ravan's department is getting bigger. That is at the end of the Silver Age. Now 50%, 8 degrees means 50%. And 50% is a strategic number. In 1979, here in England, there was extreme left Labour government, and there was in Parliament no confidence vote, and both sides got equal votes. It is something like 280 and 280. It is equal, both sides. And the Speaker of the House sided with Mrs. Thatcher. And overnight, the extreme left government changed and it became extreme right. Mrs. Thatcher came to power afterwards. Something similar happens, when here, so far it has been soul conscious society. Soul conscious society is still running because it has got a majority. But when it becomes 50-50%, now Ravan just needs one straw more on that side, and the government changes, the game changes. And something similar happens here. When we are at this 50% mark at the end of Silver Age, sudden change happens because Ravan's department increases and body consciousness takes over. Ravan's thinking takes over. Ravan's values. Ravan's madness takes over. Ravan lives in that story. For him, that is all important, matters. See, I want more and more of this. complete senseless. It is a foreign word, but for Ravan, no question. It is like with full ignorance. He doesn't even see it as foreign. It is this kind of a thinking. He suffers, he gets kicked out, he cries, but he cannot let go. Such is Ravan. So this is the moment of a fall, big fall of the human beings. And this is remembered in all the scriptures, including Old Testament. This trauma is there in every soul. It is at a subconscious level. So in Old Testament, Adam was not worthy. He started apples. He started eating apples and doesn't deserve the Garden of Eden. He was sent to earth. So this is the story of this moment when the soul has crossed this point and is now not in the silver age either. We call it copper age. This is a time they are suffering. In the golden age, silver age, no concept of sorrow, no concept of disappointment, no concept of desperation. Happiness, love, that continues in different forms. Copper age, first time they're experiencing sorrows and the inner sorrows, but also outer problems, illness and wars, and that is, people want to own things and people are worried about things. So that is the copper age. With sorrow comes incarnation of prophets. Prophets come in different parts of the planet. But in spite of all this, there are scholars and there are religions already have started. There are prophets, saints, but still the momentum of the fall is still downward. Downward spiral is going on. And so we find ourselves in the next age, and that age is called the Iron Age. It is a dark age. At the end of the Copper Age, our inner score is 0 degrees. From 8, it goes to 0, which means the whole of the Iron Age, we are absolutely 100% into Ravan's camp. Everyone, there is no contrast, no comparison. Inner life is 100%. They just want to create more attachments, more ego. That is the idea. They get all the Vinash forces, but don't care. Ravan doesn't care. They suffer, but they still do the same mistake. Full ignorance. That is what is happening in the Iron Age. Yeah, do you want to say anything? Ask anything?
In this model, is there any room for evolution?
What we are seeing here is that human souls, we start with perfection, and eternal world is perfect, and our journey is cyclical. we go into full clarity, we go into full ignorance. That is a cyclical. There is no need of evolution because perfection already exists. Underneath there is perfection. Very different thinking.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a question. What is the degree? What are the degrees in the Copper Age?
As was said, we start with 8 degrees and we end up with 0 degrees. By the end of Copper Age, it is 0. And then we continue with 0 degrees. And that Iron Age is that time of full darkness.
Is everyone a deity in the Golden Age?
Yeah.
And is everyone a warrior in the Silver Age?
Now, what happens is we one new aspect to add to this. We have so far seen these different phases. It is still the drama we are talking about. And in this drama, not everyone comes on the first day. When there is a performance, and the actors come on the stage according to the script. Some come at the beginning, then the others join according to the script. So here also it's a drama. There are certain number who start at the beginning, and then the number gradually increases. Others are joining in from the home. And that is why the population continuously increases on this planet. Even when we study the population in the last few centuries, you notice that the population continues to increase, even though there are wars and some epidemics in between. But the global population, planet Earth population, is continuously increasing. Sometimes locally there is a drop, but it quickly makes up. And the graph shows that it remains the same. The pattern continues and the population is growing. It sort of matches with this thinking that once we have come on the stage, we can't return back because we already have created some kind of a bondage. But the destiny is such that we don't go back after one part, two part. We don't. We take birth and rebirth. Reincarnation continues, and we remain here until the end of the play, and all return back at the end. So beginning of the golden age, let us say the population was less than 1 million. Gradually it increases, and then towards the end of the silver age, it reaches to 20 million. And today the population is more than 8 billion. You get an idea. So compared to the beginning, by that ratio, population expands 10,000 fold from the beginning to the present time.
That would be another question, like, can some return back home after this life and not be reborn until next cycle? But you're saying that is not possible.
Yeah, in this model, once we come, we can go back only in the state in which we came down. We can't go back with a little bit of Ravan or a little bit of attachments. We have to be 100% clean. Inside out, we have to be clean. And that happens at the end. It doesn't happen in between.
And so who comes in Golden Age? population is growing, so not everyone experiences the golden age.
Yeah, that will be in the question that was asked, deities, do the deities just come in the golden age? What we are seeing here, when the souls come for the first time on the planet, they are in the deity phase. So in the silver age, there are some who are coming for the first time. They are in the deity phase. But those who have been here for a while, they have gone backwards. They will find themselves in the warrior phase. So there is we said when we are taking a cross section of any society, you will see some are in the merchant phase, some are in the Shudra phase, some are in the warrior phase. There will be some ratio. And something similar happens right from the beginning. As new ones are coming, they are, in the they are they are more pure and more golden aged deity.
Yeah, thank you. Would you be able to just explain what the degrees were again, that someone is saying they missed that point? Maybe also question why 16 might help to understand.
It is just a classification in the Vedic tradition of India. It just means 100 degrees, but it is just another language.
So 16 is same as full, and
Yeah,
then
yeah,
it gets to half full halfway through,
yes.
and 0 3/4 the way. How long is one age?
We will see the details, later, but at this point, know that we are watching the film, and the film, has a duration, and the film has got. This is a big film, or other films are just 2 hours long, 3 hours long. This film is in thousands of years, but it is not in millions of years.
Thank you. No other questions right now.
So far we spoke of the 4 ages: golden age, silver age, copper age, and the iron age. And then from the iron age, next is the golden age. But from iron age, we don't just jump into the golden age, because to go into the golden age, we need to bring about transformation in ourselves. And we need to be worthy of the golden age. And Shudra cannot just become a deity, because he decides to be a deity. He has to bring about change. We said you have to become a Brahmin, a student, and bring about change, study. Then you become a deity. So here there's another age at the end of the Iron Age, and that age is called the Confluence Age. So this is the age at the end of the Iron Age and the beginning of the Golden Age. It is the confluence. It is the age of transformation. Two things happen at the confluence age. Make a guess what happens in the confluence age. Two things. What are the two things? That is to bring about transformation. That is the important part of the confluence age. Positive change in the souls. What is required to bring about change in the souls?
Soul consciousness. They have to be awake for this to become pure. World has to end. Enlightenment, purity, coming out of Ravan's, beating Ravan's heads.
There are two things. One is you need a new knowledge. Suddenly you can't bring about transformation with the same old things. If you do the same thing you have always done, you will always get what you have always got. So here at the confluence age, you receive new knowledge, and you need that new information, new insight. And those who understand this new knowledge, they apply it, then there is a chance of bringing about change. So new knowledge. Okay, there is knowledge, but we are talking about 8 billion souls. They all will not run to take this new knowledge. What else is required to bring about change? One word answer. The other factor that is required is pain. We learn either through wisdom or through pain. Humans or animals. We all learn. In animals, they learn. The people can teach tigers, elephants, monkeys. They can teach many skills, but they learn either through wisdom or through pain. And so also here, we learn and we have to bring about change. So nature first gives us the option of wisdom, but then the machinery of pain comes in. Machinery of pain is a problem. Means Vinash forces are released. And people, to learn through pain is a tough thing. Just to give you an example, one lady, she had headaches for 20 years. And she had headaches, 20 years. And then someone notices that she was eating certain fruit, and that was the cause of her headache. But she was not getting headache the day she's eating the fruit. She was getting the headache maybe a day later or something. She did not see the connection for 20 years until she was told. How easy, she herself is happy to drop it. But people don't learn even through pain that easily. It is tough to learn through pain. So here, the wisdom, option of wisdom comes. And all that wisdom tells us, change the posture. Drop this attachment, drop this ego. You are guest here. Get that right. That is all. Become soul conscious. That is the posture nature tells us. If that is not done through wisdom, Vinash forces come until we drop the wrong posture. But one way or other, everyone learns, and we all happily go back home, back to our sweet home, discover our extraordinary truth. And then the journey starts again next time. We start, immortal soul doesn't come. Immortal soul is an eternal player. Player will not play just one game, and that is end of his existence. He comes again to play the part again next time around, and he goes through the cycle again. So let us hear from you.
Maybe a sort of technical question in on this. If one age has to end before another begins, how are additional new souls created? Do you understand the question?
And the new souls are not created in this model. We are a finite number in our home. There are finite actors, and these all the actors will come on the stage. Some play very short parts, some play very long part from the beginning, but everyone comes on the stage, and then we go back. Something that is eternal has to be stable, and so, and in this model, it appears to be a creation, as was said. Even the word creation may not be the best word here, because this film already exists. We are just experiencing it. We have experienced it before. Matter is not created by anyone, and the souls are not created by anyone. We are immortal. It exists. Just experiencing it.
Yeah, thank you.
A question that was asked: what's the duration of this film? In this model, this knowledge says this duration of the film is 5,000 years. And we take births and rebirths through this 5,000 years cycle. But maximum number of rebirths is 84. But these are like details, but principle is we are watching a film. Souls are watching a film. And film, there is cut phenomena, which means you are watching a film. Your James Bond is in blue shirt. Next thing you see, James Bond is in Casino Royale with some different dress. Next thing you see, he's in a helicopter somewhere else altogether. And that you don't always. Film is different to the ordinary model. We think that everything we have to see how it happened, what is the origin. Everything has a past. In a film, you are watching the images. That's it. You just have to watch, clap, and go home.
So that might help to support this next question. Can we just come and go back through the golden age? Do we have to go through all the ages?
Once we come, we come to the anytime, any age we come, we cannot go back in between. We have to complete the whole film, and we go back at the end of the film. That is the only time we get knowledge to truly understand the whole thing and undo our bondages. Otherwise, and in between, we don't have the knowledge to undo, nor we are really serious about going. We already got into attachment here. Even now, ask your 10 friends how many want to go today. They don't want to go, even though there may be some pain and problems. They don't want to go. And let me ask one question. Where do you think we are? We spoke of golden age, silver age, copper age, iron age. Where do you think we are? How many think we are in the golden age? I think Trump is thinking we are in the golden age. Golden age of Trump.
And Boris.
Some others must be thinking. Trump supporters. Sorry.
Someone has written Silver Age. Others have written Iron Age, and others Confluence Age, which appears to be the most popular answer.
Yes, this knowledge says we are now towards the later part of the confluence age. We are last phase of the film. Time to go home. In other words, we are in that phase of the film. This model, any model, in science, we said there are many models in science also. There are religious models. Any model has got a weight. We should take it seriously if that explains more things. Observed phenomena, if you can explain, then that model has value. It is worth taking it seriously. Otherwise, someone can just say what comes in his head, some model, but does it match with the fact? Does it support the fact? Is it in alignment with facts? Now, science models, that are presented, they are not. And what doesn't fit in with the observation, with the model of science, they call it paranormal. They've just created a box and label it as paranormal. And what doesn't fit in within their idea, they call it paranormal, and just they solved it by calling it paranormal. And they have created another box, and that is called psychical phenomena, and they think they have solved it. But these things challenge the model, that these observations tell us that this model has to be questioned. And in science, there are people who say science system itself needs revamping. Science is a good system, but it needs a revamp. We need to see science in a different way, and approach. Otherwise, we are becoming fanatic within science, not really a system to tell us the truth. But whether science do it or it is their problem, we have the option to use our intellect and understand the truth by our rational approach.
It's empowering, isn't it, to be able to use the rigorous method, but also experience as an authority based upon the fact that we're putting the soul in the model, whereas in science there isn't soul, and it kind of removes the individual from being able to contribute anything in a way. One question, well, it was also answered in the chat by another participant, but how can we tell what age we are in?
And what is the answer given?
Well, it was nicely answered as observed that the Vinash forces are at an all-time high. It's Ravana era, change has to happen. That's why we're on the confluence age. It's a transformation.
Tomorrow also we will be seeing, we said new knowledge comes at the confluence age. We will see that part, where the new knowledge comes from and why we are in the confluence age. We'll discuss that part tomorrow. But yes, the answer is we are at the confluence age. The time knowledge is there, new knowledge to create golden age is there. And at the same time, there are people ready to release the Vinash forces, thanks to some very, very sensible leaders. We are all ready to release the Vinash forces of the world. So it appears to be the confluence age. 100 years ago, it was not possible for any one leader to bring about destruction of this planet. It was not possible. They may be emperors and all, but they couldn't bring about destruction. Today, so many countries have got power to bring this whole planet to a standstill.
Quite appropriately called the Mad Treaty, I think.
Yeah, that's right. Our peace is held by the treaty that is called MAD2, Mad Truth, Mutually Assured Destruction. And Treaty 1 and Treaty 2, it is called MAD2, Mutually Assured Destruction.
A question here, does rebirth include animals?
Yes, each animal species, they got their own, they got a soul, and their souls have their rebirth within that same species. To give an example, for example, there is a, say the pilot, he needs an aeroplane, and the bus driver needs a bus. It can be a green bus or blue bus or what bus, and the pilot needs an aeroplane, and train driver needs a train. In the same way here, in a horse, the soul of the horse needs that body. Soul of the fish needs that kind of body. Soul of the humans need a human body with human brain and access to ChatGPT.
New edition. I'm sure ChatGPT would agree. There are no other questions. Is there anything you want to add before we take a break for rooms?
Yeah, we'll take a break.
So you see if this question is working. What do we need to do to come into the golden age and create a deity community?
Yeah, that's very good.
And the yoga is not really with the destruction, but we're in the process of creating that new world. So that would be a nice angle. So we've just put that in the chat, and we'll open up now and enjoy. We'll meet you back in just over 10 minutes. Thank you. Warm welcome back. Shall we create just a moment of silence before we continue coming to the essence beyond the wheel of time? Thank you. Something I read in one of the books that we had at Inner Space, and I never forget this sentence I really liked. It said, I lay these ideas alongside my life and test my own integrity. I think what I liked about it, it's sort of like they are ideas. It's not meant to be something that I have to believe. But what was presented today is a model. And within itself, it has its own structure. And to question it is important. It should make sense. It does include the idea of soul. And the continuity of that is the divinity. And so we have a mirror as if to test our own integrity. So that questioning is good, but also experiencing. And today, this wheel of time, as Prashant is recreating the map now, it's how things add up in the clans, the Vinesh forces, how they play out. So I really welcome any comments, questions that might have come up in the rooms. It will be beneficial for everyone. And especially this aspect of intervention and renewal. Yeah, there's already a question coming, but turning back to Prashant now. Thank you.
Let us create another minute of silence. And it is like a reset for us. In this silence, we use the best intellect, best light, enough to help the true self become fully conscious. And if he's conscious, he doesn't mix his life with the film. Film, it is not our film. Film is a separate thing. Thank you. Yeah, happy to hear the questions.
First is the question is, I'm a bit confused about the ages. Is it a static concept so that there is only one age that all souls are currently in? Or
Sure.
each soul is in a different age, so one is in golden age, other one is in a copper age?
Yeah, sure. Now, what happens is we all are together. All the souls are traveling together. Watching the film, at this moment, we are watching this Iron Age, Confluence Age film. Everyone is in it, at the present time. So there was a time, there was a golden age scene. So there was a time, there was a golden age scene. It is not there anymore. Then we all moved further down into the golden age. Then we moved into the silver age. Everyone is in the silver age that time. Those who are new souls, they are in their deity phase. That's what we said. But they are not in the golden age. Everyone is in the silver age that time. Population is increased. And the population continues to increase. We are in the late silver age. Then we enter into copper age. New ones are joining, but they are joining in the copper age. And so it is not that someone is in the golden age and someone is in the copper age. Everyone is in the copper age. But you will notice that in any age, there are differences. Some people are more, polite and more happy and more, naturally in control of themselves. Some just more into degradation and more out of control because they started the journey early. They are not in the deity phase, they are not in the warrior phase, some are in the Shudra phases. So that is happening, all along from the copper age. So here new souls are coming, and then we all find ourselves in the Iron Age. The whole human journey, the bus, tourist bus is traveling, but now we are into the Iron Age, and new ones are coming in. Even now, new ones are still coming in. That's why the population is increasing. And there's new ones, they are into a different phase. They say, oh, this is all fun and this is all light, and they are naturally, everything is so wonderful for them. The old ones are having burden. They feel, burden of life and a burden of their past. All this is happening in the older souls. And then we find ourselves in the confluence age. When we are in the confluence age, Iron Age still continues. It is a confluence age for those who are using knowledge, who are bringing about transformation. Otherwise, there is at this time there is an overlap of Iron Age and the confluence age.
Yeah, that's great. That answers the next question. Is the entire world in the confluence age, or is soul's individual journey? And maybe just to add or mention that, so it's the difference between the age and the phase of the soul. We all
Yes,
travel together, but we're in our different phases. When you said everyone is in the silver age or everyone in the copper age, you mean everyone who is on the stage is in that age, not every soul.
that's right. Yes.
Okay.
Those who are in the home, they are not in the age. Agreed.
Okay. I hope it helps, and please feel free to add anything on that. So there aren't any other questions right now.
I'll tell you one story, and that helps us understand this journey a little bit better. And in this, what we are saying here is a time when Vinash forces are released, and there is going to be destruction. The civilization, as we see it, it is going to not exist anymore, and the film is going to finish. Different civilization starts, golden age starts, but the present civilization comes to an end. It's a good news, but it is also bad news. To whom is it a bad news? We said golden age is coming, it's a good news. But there is a destruction of this civilization, a destruction of this body, and destruction of everything we look around. It's a bad news for whom?
The ones who are attached. One answer.
That is true. So the one who is attached is Ravan. So it is a bad news for Ravan. Ravan is absolutely trapped in the story. And so, with knowledge, we have to help everyone to become free from Ravan beforehand. So this is what is happening there. Also want to tell some the predictions by Nostradamus. Some of you have heard this name, Nostradamus. He was born in France in 1493, that sort of time. And during he might have lived for 60 years, but right from childhood, he was, his schoolmates and all found it funny because he could tell what is going to happen next in the classroom and what is going to happen, you know, which teacher is going to come, and he could just tell. And the students found it like a fun to hear what he was going to tell. And in time, the king of France, and he was able to tell him what is going to happen. But he wrote during his time what is going to happen to Europe and the planet Earth over the next few centuries. He wrote in great details. So Nostradamus is a big name. And lots of it, the very fact that people remember and there are books on him, it tells you there is some truth. To give you one idea, he speaks 500 men will attack Palace of Tiles. He writes it during his time. The Palace of Tiles was built 186 years after his death. Marie Antoinette called it Palace of Tiles. And during the French Revolution, 500 men, history books say 500 men attacked the Palace of Tiles. Gives you an idea how fascinating his writings are. And what does it tell you? That is it by chance what science says? Future? How can you know the future? It is permutation, combination. So many possibilities exist, and then some possibility happens. He's telling you exact details, facts. If you speak to some clairvoyant, and they give you some of their observations. One lady, she saw there's someone I know very well, this lady. She saw her husband dying. They were going to buy a new house. She saw a bed in the middle of the room and husband dying. And she said, why do I get this in a bit inauspicious feeling, vision? And she came out and husband is talking to the agent and all, everything is okay. So she said, no one keeps the bed in the middle of the room like that. So it maybe I should ignore that, what I saw. So they bought the house. They lived there happily for 7 years. And one day she was cleaning the carpet. So she pushed the bed out of the way. So the bed was in the middle of the room. And husband comes from the bathroom, lies on the bed, dies. And she says she had seen that exact scene in colors and angle 7 years earlier. All this, you will hear many very interesting things. And our science model has to say it never happened. It is some kind, they want to prove it wrong. But here what we are saying, there is a film that real already exists. What is going to happen in 150 years time? It is already there. What is going to happen in 7 years time? Already there. And what is happening? There are some people who can fast forward, go and have a look at what is happening, come and tell you what they saw. It tells us that here what we are experiencing is a predestined film. It is very radical, this message. Predestined film we are watching. And those who are watching are the souls who are watching this film. It is a nice, amusing film, but you get a very different insight into it. And by that thinking, this film will have its end. This particular part of the episode will come to an end. Different episode will begin. In fact, Nostradamus speaks of First War. He speaks of Napoleon Wars first. Then he speaks of First World War. He speaks of Second World War. He speaks of Third World War. He speaks of super earthquakes, and the whole planet will be undone, dismantled, whole planet. So this is what he talks about. He speaks about nuclear weapons being used. And so that is Nostradamus is writing about this age. Then he also speaks about the golden age of mankind. He says golden age will last for 1,000 years. He uses another expression, and that expression is called the age of truth. He uses this expression for that age. And in Sanskrit, and in this knowledge, we don't use the word golden age. It is called Satya Yuga. Sat is truth, age of truth. And Nostradamus speaks of age of truth and golden age. It will last for 1,000 years. He writes more than 40 stanzas describing, there are interspersed, but talking about the golden age of the future. Now there are scholars who study Nostradamus, and they say, how is it possible? He speaks about this destruction and nuclear weapons. After that, how can there be golden age? We will lose our civilization. There can't be. It is just. It is impossible to get golden age after this. How do you explain it? How is it possible? On one hand, nuclear weapons and superquakes, this whole civilization will be dismantled. You lose all your Microsoft and program, latest, iPhone. It is all gone. And how can you get golden age?
Good question.
Do you want to tell? Anyone want to tell? If the scholars say after destruction you can't get golden age, we are going backwards after such a destruction. How do you explain golden age of mankind after that?
Someone's written, it helps us to let go of the bondages. There's nothing left to attach to after that. Someone's saying we get new knowledge.
Most people think, those who are the scholars who make this argument, they are thinking that progress happens through technology and through science. But golden age is a creation of consciousness. Golden age is not a creation of technology. And what we are seeing here during the confluence age, a certain number of people, they are bringing about a shift in consciousness. That becomes the seed. As we saw, Vinash forces, they are creation of the consciousness also. And golden age is also the creation of the consciousness. And so enough, certain number of people need to bring about shift in consciousness, and you change the face of the planet. Yeah, happy to hear some thoughts from you. And if Sarah want to, it will be nice to hear some reflections from Sarah.
The word eligibility always comes up for me, that when there is this foundation of truth, then the observers of this film can handle the best. And you mentioned, when we talk about Vinash forces, nature wants to give, wants to support life, wants to give the best. But if we are getting attached, it has to give us messages. But if souls are in truth, then they don't need that. Nature becomes abundant. It's like a safe pair of hands. So it seems implausible with our materialist influenced perspective. How can we create something outside from consciousness? But when we really reflect on what was shared, reincarnation, and this principle of consciousness before matter, then many other things almost lead to this model. If there is a response that starts with consciousness, so that's where my mind tends to go, and we need to experience that mind first, so it becomes practical. Be in truth now.
Yes. I want to remind us that today's discussion is nice. We call it cosmology, and it is useful for us to understand the orientation of this world. But most important for us is to get ourselves right on the psychology front. As was said, what really matters is the shift of consciousness. And knowledge is nice, the information is nice, but we can get benefit if there is a shift of consciousness. And what is that shift of consciousness? We need to wake up to know that right now, this invisible witness, invisible witness is completely separate to Prashant. Prashant is within that film, one character within it. Ego is sort of hanging around this role, me. That is what is going on with the ego. Invisible witness wakes up, understands his complete independence from the whole film. Invisible witness understands his life, alokik world. His home is different, his father is different, his family is different. He's awake today now. Understands he's very, very lucky. His universe is positive universe. Film is not part of his universe. Film is not part of anyone's universe. Film is fiction. Positive. Everyone is positive. It is Ravan-free region. Stable, eternal. And no one has this subconscious desperations and disappointments. No concept of it. We are waking up to this. We try to stay in that awareness rest of the evening. There is no reason to let go of it. When we are not in this awareness, the only other option is going fully into ego and Ravan's camp. That is the only second option for us. And then it appears completely normal to think you are the temporary role in that film and to have this petty, desperations in that film. That appears normal. Invisible traveler is the invisible prince. He belongs to the King of Kings. His life is of joy and love, full love. Everyone is lovely and worthy of love. Childlike, he knows this. He is not talking about loving characters in the film, but for him it is so obvious. The real players, they are invisible brothers, and they are lovely. Every second he just stays in this awareness, he makes it easy for others to wake up. He contributes to that benevolence just by being conscious. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. There's a question. Shall I bring it now?
Mhm.
Those who have demonic qualities, so the lowest when Ravan is really king, so those who have demonic qualities, will they also go to the soul world after the confluence age? And what happens then?
The moment new knowledge comes and the light comes, the soul wakes up. Everyone has got some element of demonic. That's why we take sorrow and we get angry, So that is demonic. Everyone has got this, some maybe more. But now the knowledge comes in. And knowledge comes, you realize you are so safe. And as was said, universe is positive. Your world becomes, eternal, supreme reality. And your game is different now. And that demon and that Ravan that disappears. Just as when you bring full light, shadow disappears. Otherwise, shadow is so powerful, so big. But you bring light, it disappears. Ravan disappears in the light of knowledge. For everyone, it becomes completely zero, and then they become divine, deity. Same souls who were demonic, they become deity, fully proper, immensely worthy. We got a person in India. I met him. If the name is right, Pancham Singh. And he was the leader of a gang, bandits, hundreds of bandits. The film is made based upon him, he and his gang. And he was, even military couldn't catch him. And at that time, one political leader whom everyone respected, he offered him, you surrender and you won't be imprisoned. And he surrendered to him. And this was in 70s, I think. And he was not imprisoned. But very soon after that, he connected with our center, and that's how I met him in Madhuban, our headquarters. And I was very pleased to see. I saw some YouTube. He's giving talks with a badge and explaining knowledge to others. Compared to what I saw, of course, he has become older. Don't know if he's still alive today, but this was some time ago. But he was a bandit. The people say he must have killed hundreds of people, this kind of thing, that kind of life. But he changed, and he changed many others with knowledge. He became a proper student. Faith changes, and the soul changes.
Not a typical journey, but so response that interesting. So everyone will transform was the additional question.
Everyone will change, yes. With the wisdom or through pain. The confluence age is that there is no option for everyone to. Ravan cannot continue beyond confluence age. Either they have to go back home to the soul world or golden age. There is no Ravan in either of these ages.
And there's a factor he's also collapsing under his own weight. It's like unsustainable even within himself, but facilitated by knowledge. Yeah, thank you. What I liked about this last sharing is to bring it back to the experience and the practical side, stay near the exit, and somehow simple way out. There's to understand the invisible traveler, but not waiting for problems to come, but be in that safety now and then come for the rescue. Maybe one more question. If everyone transforms, then why only a few come in the golden age?
Now, one is the bringing about transformation. We said one is transform, but is it happening through pain, through the Vinash force? Then the person has not created power in himself. And to come in the golden age, you need some factors of your personal effort. So if you bring about this transformation through your study, understanding knowledge, putting it into practice, and yoga side of it, that is a necessary factor that remains in the soul. And we use the word power for this. It is a bit like you have digested something. You have thought about it, understood it, it has digested. Someone lifts you and you learned to climb. There is a difference. And so these factors are necessary for you to come in the golden age. Why? Because that soul consciousness has to last for 2,500 years. Whole time, there is a lots happening around you, and you are not deceived by those golden years. So internally there is need of power. Someone who has not learned it himself, that he hasn't got that power, and that's why they come later.
Thank you. So maybe we pause here and do acknowledge any other questions that come up. We can bring them in tomorrow's session. So enjoy your experiments, staying with the essence, and anything final to add, Prashant?
Yeah, what was said in our alpha beta basics is the scene that we see here, the sketch, and what really matters. Make the main thing the main thing, and the main thing is getting ourselves to the highest consciousness. That's the homework.
Thank you. Enjoy experiments. We'll meet again tomorrow. Thank you.